Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today, I want to talk to you not as an examiner, not as a critic, but as a teacher who deeply cares about you. I want to talk about a small with a very big question, Virginia Woolf's A Room of One's Own. And while listening, I want you to keep asking yourself, is this only literature or is this about my life? Let me begin by asking you something very simple. How many of you have a room of your own? Not a shared room, not the kitchen, not a corner where someone is always calling your name. A real room where you can shut the door, sit quietly, think freely, and dream without interruption. Virginia Woolf begins her essay with this question, and once she asks it, she does not allow us to ignore it. This essay was not written in anger, it was written in clarity. In 1928, Virginia Woolf was invited to speak to women students, women who could attend lectures but were not even full members of the university. She looked at them and thought, why are women so intelligent, yet so absent from history? Why are there so few great women writers? And instead of blaming women, she asked a more honest question. What conditions are necessary for creativity? You have all heard this line. A woman must have money and a room of her own if she is to write fiction. But listen carefully. This is not only about writing novels. Money means independence. A room means mental peace. Together they mean freedom. Virginia Woolf is saying talent is not enough. Intelligence is not enough. Dreams die when conditions are unequal. Now, Woolf does something very powerful. She invents a character, Judith Shakespeare, the imaginary sister of William Shakespeare. Judith is just as talented, just as intelligent, just as creative, but unlike her brother, she is denied education, discouraged from reading, forced into marriage, laughed at for ambition. Judith does not fail because she lacks talent. She fails because society gives her no space to succeed. How many Judiths exist in India? In our families, in our villages, in us. Woolf walks into libraries in this essay, and what does she see? Men everywhere, women nowhere. For centuries, women were denied education, denied libraries, denied authorship, and then society said, women are intellectually inferior. Woolf does not shout, she simply exposes the hypocrisy. Sometimes quiet truth is more dangerous than loud protest. Woolf notices something important. Something women's writing was often emotional, sometimes angry, not because women were weak, but because women were hurt. Imagine being told again and again, your voice does not matter. Wouldn't anger enter your words? Woolf reminds us true creativity needs freedom from fear. A frightened mind cannot write honestly. Here, Woolf says something very sharp. For centuries, women were taught to reflect men's greatness, to admire, praise, obey. She says women were mirrors, making men look twice their size. And then she asks, what happens when the mirror breaks? Men feel threatened. Society panics because women are no longer reflecting power, they are reclaiming it. Every time a woman demands education, she is called arrogant. Every time she demands independence, she's called dangerous. Why? Because an educated woman asks questions, an educated woman refuses silence, and patriarchy fears thinking women. Notice something very carefully. Woolf does not say a room and money. She says money and a room, because without financial independence, your time belongs to others. Your choices belong to others. Money is not luxury. Money is not freedom. Dependence creates a resentment. Freedom creates peace. Please understand this. This essay is not only about writing. Writing is a symbol. It stands for career, education, research, creativity, ambition. Whatever you want to create, you need space and security. You might think, ma'am, today women are educated. Yes, but ask honestly, how many women still sacrifice dreams to please society? How many girls feel guilty for ambition? The room has expanded, but still it is not equally shared. Now, let me stop being a critic for a moment. Let me speak to you, my students. This essay is about you. When you ask for time to study, this is your room. When you demand respect for your intellect, this is your room. A woman without space slowly disappears. Maybe you don't yet have money. Maybe you don't yet have a physical room, but your mind can still be a room of your own. Protect it. Do not allow doubt, guilt, or fear to enter it. Read, think, question, speak. Virginia Woolf wrote from England, but her words reach Indian women deeply. We know sacrifice, we know silence, we know strength. Now we must also claim space. You do not need permission to think. You do not need apology for ambition. Claim your room, claim your voice, claim your mind, because when a woman gets a room of her own, the world changes quietly and forever. If this made you think, if it made you pause, then Virginia Woolf has reached you. Thank you for listening.